Hope Channel, changing lives.
Hello, lovely viewers. It's another beautiful and a blissful Wednesday evening. I am happy, I am pleased, I am blessed, and I hope you are too. Well, we are in the studios of Hope Ghana TV, and this is Real Talk. Don't forget to stream online and join the discussion. Don't forget to leave your comments under the comment section, and I'll read them out as a discussion unfolds. My name is Dansua, and I'll be your host for tonight. Today, this evening, the kind of guests we have in the studio will amaze you. They are experienced, they are experts, they are crackerjacks and well-versed about such issues. And so they are going to share with us their experiences and their cogitos about today's story. Trust me, you will love it. And so as usual, I'll ask you to grab and grip some bottle of water, place it beside you, and sip along as we delve deeper into the show. Joining virtually, we have Eudice Owusu. She is a member of the Atlant Ghanaian SDA Church. Mrs. Eudice. Good evening.
Hi. Good evening.
It's the same. Hope everything is fine.
Yes, by God's grace.
What are your expectations for tonight?
Oh, we're actually going to nail it, and I think a lot of people will have will have a take, go home, so they should sit back and relax.
It's interesting to have you tonight. God bless you.
Thank you for calling me.
Joining us again, we have Mr. Benjamin Jamara. He happens to be a junior assistant registrar at the University of Energy and Natural Resources. Mr. Jamara, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
I love your smile.
It's because of you.
Hey, are you sure? Hope you are fine.
I'm fine.
We thank God. Hope you are ready for the show tonight.
I'm ready, and I believe that our viewers are going to have a very insightful and blissful discussion.
Okay, that's great. With me in the studio, we have this fine gentleman. His parents gave him Manolohine. His friends call him Jamba. But then he says he's a relationship chef. But for the sake of today's discussion, I'll call him Ohene. Boss, I salute you.
Thank you.
Hope you're fine.
I'm doing well yourself.
I'm great. Everything good.
Every day inside. Every day inside. Every day inside.
Never then how you for
we go see some 1 or 2 or 3 things.
Interesting. Okay, without much ado, I'd like to read the story. And this story was sent to us by a gentleman, or let me say a married man. He says, "Hello, Real Talk. I feel terrible about my current situation. It all started when I got married to my beautiful wife, who was a banker. After our wedding, her family gave us some amount of money to start up a business since I was not financially stable. Everything was going on well till the company stood out. At first, my wife just supported when she is free at work, and she later resigned to join me in the company as the operations manager. Then it all began. She was complaining about every lady who came close to me, my secretary, and other female clients. So she ended up being my personal assistant. Now I can't concentrate in the business anymore. So I told her to go back to a banking job because we are losing both our marriage and our business. I don't know if that is the right decision or not because I'm losing both my marriage and my business." So this story is basically about a couple. After marriage, the wife's family decided to give them some amount of money to set up a business because apparently the man wasn't working. And the lady, the wife was a banker. The business was growing, the business was doing well, and the lady decided to leave her job and come and join the man in the business. But then there was a problem. The lady started complaining and grumbling about every lady that came closer to the man. as a result, the man wasn't able to work well and he wasn't able to concentrate and focus. And so he asked the lady, or he's asking the lady to go back to her banking job so that they can save their marriage and their business as well. And the man is asking Real Talk if it's a good decision. So I'll start with you, Ohene. What are your general thoughts about this story?
I've always had a problem with being in a relationship or being in a marriage with someone and working in the same space with the person. I think it poses a lot of challenges as the relationship goes along, because we are human, we have emotions, and when you see your spouse with someone of the opposite sex who has the potential of just doing some one or two skirmishes, then you feel jealous. Even if you are mature emotionally, you still have a little bit of jealousy. So I think that it is best when both parties are in different spaces when it comes to work. Then when they come home, they do what they are supposed to do.
Okay, interesting. Mr. Jamra, what are your thoughts?
Problem a lot of couples are facing, but it is something that can also be addressed, especially this issue. It is not something that I think it should even be a problem to the man, especially. So I believe after a fruitful discussion, we are going to help the man to save the marriage as well as the business.
Interesting thoughts. Mrs. Osu.
Yeah, I think I side with what Mr. Jamal just said, that at the end we make sure like we'll be able to deal with and you can save both marriage and business. But the whole thing actually deals with trust. So if we are able to come together and make them understand and build a good trust and each other working on themselves, then we can save both marriage and the business. So that's what I'm looking up to.
Interesting. Mrs. also just mentioned trust, which is very, very key in relationships. But then I would want to know, is it okay, Mrs. also, for couples to work together in the same organization? Because I know some couples, both male and female, are teachers. They are teaching in the same district, they are teaching in the same school, and even in the same school, they are teaching in the same department. Is it okay?
Actually, legally, it is right for couples to work in the same company or whatever it is. But most companies actually have some rules governing that maybe if you are couples, because of this carry-on family issues getting into business, some some companies actually bound that. They don't want people to do that. But personally, I think it's okay if you guys, you sit down and work yourself out and make sure you put the borderline or distinction between work and home, that no work is carried to home and no home carried to work. I think that will be okay. But in a general perspective, because of our culture, I think most of us don't have that understanding or that maturity yet. So it will be better you stay separately in business, but it is okay.
It is okay. Mr. Jamra, what do you think? Uncle Ben. Ohene, what do you think?
For me, personally, I think it's a no-go area. There are a lot of compromises that comes to play in such an environment. For example, if one is the boss of the other and you have to make a decision that will affect the person, your spouse, directly or indirectly, then because of the emotional vibe you have with the person, yes, then your decision will be in a way biased or compromised. So to stay off that chart, it's best when you both work in separate organizations. And taking into context the story we are dealing with, it's not like a situation where both parties found themselves in the same organization before they entered into the marriage union.
Good.
But then the woman had something she was doing. She later decided to come into that space. The question is, what prompted her decision? Was it that the business was not going on well? Was it that she thought she could help the business? Or was it that she had trust issues and she thought being in the same space with the guy will help solve the issue? So there are a lot of things we can look at when it comes to the story.
But do you think there are any positive things that they can derive when they both work in the same organizations? Any benefits?
Yes, there are some positives. For instance, you know, when you are going to close, you go to work together. So when it comes to the time factor, the time you spend with your spouse, then there is a positive in that factor. You are able to spend a lot of time with your spouse. But then I think that in this situation, the negatives outweigh the positives.
But I don't want us to get to the negative.
Okay.
So, Mrs. Also, I'd like to get your views on some of the benefits we derive in working together with our spouses.
Actually, it's supposed to help bring some understanding between us, because like I know what you are doing at work, you know what I'm doing, so it will be easy for us to bring some understanding on board. And with a time of, let's say, oh, you stayed overnight working, I know what is going on, so that wouldn't be an issue. If you say, oh, I have to stay behind and do this work or finish this work, I understand because I can see it with my eye. I know how things are running, so that will help. And also with some things like bring it to, they say two heads are better than one. So with you being together and also being the same shape as in the relationship, marriage relationship, it's also help. And if it's really matured, at least all the time you have time for yourself, there wouldn't be any chance of I didn't see you, didn't call me, text, or that kind of thing. So you always have each other by your side. So that is a good thing.
Interesting.
So I have one advantage that just hits me. Communication. So if you are in the same working space, then it enhances communication. You know the things, you can talk about work, you can talk about a lot of things because you share a lot of things in common. So it's a positive that we can look at.
Mr. Jama, I want to hear your views on that. What are some of the positive stuff we can derive from couples working together in the same organization or institution?
Right, thank you very much. For me, ideally, I don't support the idea that working couples. I don't support that. But at least beautiful benefits that one can derive, especially our sister said, I mean, 2 years are better than none. In terms of professionalism, you have that professional support where you are all in the business, so you cannot think around together, and then you help each other professionally. This is what the department is thinking about doing. So maybe the husband or the wife can, give that professional support. Then financially too is good. Sometimes you know what is in there, the salary, the allowances. So if you are planning for the family, you know how to go about it. So you know that we are working, each of us receiving maybe 5,000 Ghana cedis. It is that we will be able to work together, control our finances. Then we can also talk about emotional support. Sometimes when you come back home, you come back from work, sometimes stress and other things. But work, and then your wife is around or your husband is around, you close from work, you all go sit in the car, drive home and other things. It gives you that emotional strength. It gives you that emotion. So I think some of these things are good. But as our brother said, the negatives are sometimes outweighs the positives.
Great. Ohene, don't you think it's become boring seeing your husband's face every time, every day? See your wife's face every time, every day. Is it not boring?
But then you see your husband's face and your wife's face every time, every day.
Yes, but like there are some spaces.
I get where you're coming from. Like from home, you move to the workplace.
You are seen here.
I think that element is real, where it gets boring. But then I think it depends on how you make it. You see, there are a lot of things you can look at with this situation.
Okay.
Maybe you are in the same department, but then you are not doing the exact same thing. And sometimes you can be in your department and you will not see people in other departments till maybe break time or after work. So probably you are not sitting beside each other, desk to desk. No, probably she's in a different department. So, but then there's this familiarity everywhere, and if it is channeled in the right direction, it can foster that vibe, that unity between the couple. Yeah.
Interesting. Mr. Jama, what are some of the challenges in there?
But one that I want to talk about is when there is some kind of challenges in the business. You are working in an institution or a company, and then there's a redundancy, and one has to go home, or even both of you have to go home. So in terms of job security, sometimes it's not advisable. It's better that one works somewhere and then the other one also works in another. When it comes to any kind of job like redundancy, you think that one will be saved or all of you will be saved. And then another challenge is also where in some institutions where you are couples, and then when it comes to like welfare and other things,
I get you.
Or they deduct the two of you.
Yes.
But when it's benefit, only one benefit. For example, I was working somewhere, and if you are a couple, maybe you are entitled to rent, right? Rent allowance. But because you are a couple working in that same institution, only one is given that opportunity. In terms of school fees waiver, that allowance to will be given to only one person.
Okay.
But the two of you are working in separate entities, separate organizations. You and the chances of benefiting from that allowance. So some of these things sometimes it even affect our financial issues as well. And then, as you rightly said, sometimes it becomes so bored, seeing your wife, going with your wife to work, coming back with her from
handbag.
Sometimes, distance sort of relationship is okay. Sometimes you need to, you don't have to see your wife maybe for about that 8 hours. You come home, the face is fresh, and then it looks so romantic. But always you work or you go to the work with her or with him. It becomes somehow boring. And sometimes you need to bring some kind of joy or some kind of interesting experience into the marriage.
Interesting. I agree with you because I have a friend I go to class with every day, and sometimes I feel it's boring, so I just want to change and go with someone else. Mrs. Osu.
Yes.
Wouldn't it be boring going to work with your husband every day, every time?
Okay, I think I stand to differ a little bit. Let me start from the Genesis of the Bible.
Okay, sure.
I think that is how sin actually got into this world. Eve and Adam were to stay together, work together, Eve being a helping hand to the husband so that they stay all the time very happily.
Okay.
But when Eve saw that it was quote unquote boring to her, that's when she started to wander away, and we all know what has brought to this world. It ended in that way. So taking from that angle, I feel that it shouldn't be boring. That is, if both of you have a lot of things to do together, it shouldn't be boring. It should rather be an encouragement. But the foundation of marriage was for the two to stay together. There is no distinction of stay together for 8 hours to 9 hours or 10 hours to that hour. It's supposed to be the woman being a helping mate to the man. So if I'm being a helping mate, it means wherever you are, I should be there to help you. So personally, I don't think it will be boring to me. I actually love it and I'll have fun. And it's about how being creative and the communication, the whole thing is about good communication. If you have good communication and you guys are moving together, you can be each other's keeper, and it will help prevent some of this, how do you call this, seeing other girls or other things watching out. At least your spouse will be a watch guard for you. Okay. So from that angle, I think it wouldn't be boring.
Oh, Henny, will it be boring?
For that, I would side with Mom. It depends on the kind of vibe you have with your husband. Yes. But then I would like to say that if you think that being in the same space with your husband will prevent your husband from cheating, then you are deceiving yourself. A guy who wants to cheat will find a way to cheat. You can't stop
from experience. You're talking from experience.
No, not from experience. But then the guy will cheat regardless.
Okay.
The guy will cheat regardless. But then I feel that another challenge that we should be looking at is that kind of eye that is always on you. You are not free to do what you are supposed to do at work. Okay. Now, obviously, you will have female colleagues at work. There are some you may have some relationship with, not that you are intimate with them, but then vibe, the way you talk with the person of the opposite sex. And because your wife is around,
you can't do that.
So it's like you are restricted. It's like an eye is always on you. Then it will always be you and your wife, and you won't have friends. Okay. And there are times where friends are important.
Very, very
yes.
important.
So you should be at liberty to have that vibe with your colleagues at work too, without anyone looking behind your shoulder to see if my wife or Bana or Shemiana, then so that kind of vibe. So I think that we should be looking at that too. And also, in case there is postings, you are working in the same space and both of you have to travel, and it is a must. What are you going to do? Okay. So all these things come to play that we should be looking at when it comes to this particular discussion.
Interested. Ohene is saying a guy will cheat regardless. We'll go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll look at some of the challenges that couples who work together in the same organizations face. We'll be right back.
For the lack of knowledge you will perish, as the Bible says in Hosea 4 verse 6.
The grace, the blood of Jesus is there for us. So I can't be sick, I can't be poor, I cannot suffer affliction.
Jesus told you, be faithful unto death to receive the crown of life. We have to go through tribulation, we have to go through problems, because there will be no crown without a cross.
The verse says that we would go through afflictions because of his name's sake.
Yes.
There are lots of eye-opening discussions to prepare you for the second coming of Jesus Christ.
Vacancy. The Governing Council of Valley View University, a 7-day Adventist institution of higher learning, announces the vacancy of the Vice-Chancellor position of the university and is thus, by this notice, soliciting applications from qualified applicants. Interested candidates can visit the university's website at vvu.edu.gh or send an email to searchcommittee@vvu.edu.gh for details on the vacancy and application procedure. Deadline for receipt of applications, October 31st, 2021. Valley View University, passing on a passion for excellence, integrity, and service.
Ahochirenie adasafra ahudie na abonu yi tie nyina boare huri kosoro amani patwa ne ho a encha ekomiya adwumasem yade a eni adro na so adasamu so ye koni se ya eni da so obi wo homa nipa na you Kristo a shembo pi se odwene yen ho na owoni papi mani manyina ne sent mimenda kwanhwefo asafo enkrobata ehwe ankronkro nyamsem kedwumedie so ene ne maku akabum di dwumedie sonko a watu din Kristo ene ye ne nidaso sa dwumedie yi befrasie ehinimida etoson kronkos ni dunsia so mechre 9th to the 16th of October ewo afie mu sa dwumedie obeyi Hope Channel Ghana da biara abraba anopa nonnom ene enwumre nonson pepepe woni a ode sa Kristo mo enidaso nsemi bebre nyamema ene awurayere no Margaret A Auntie ena Christiana Ajenim Boateng emre no ni o kache oyonko na onka nkyere ni nua na ye nyina ye mom enye dwumedie mu chefa meko na we
TV Ghana, and this is Real Talk. My name is Danswa, your host. With me in the studio is Ohene. Joining virtually, we have Mrs. Owusu and then Mr. Jamra. Before the commercial break, we were discussing about a couple. After marriage, the wife's family decided to give them some amount of money because the man was not financially stable and the lady was a banker. So the man decided to establish a business. The business was doing well. Everything was going on perfectly well. Afterwards, the lady decided to join the husband because she felt perhaps the business is going on well, and so she wanted to help with her expertise and experience from a banking field. But then there was a problem because the lady started complaining about any female friend that will come closer to the man. And the man now wants the lady to go back to her banking business. And the man is asking Real Talk if it is a right decision for him to make. Ohene, before I come to you, let me read some comments on Facebook. And so this is Kenneth, and he's saying, I'm really enjoying this show. And Abdul says he's watching live for Kumasi. Now, Ohene, what do you think are some of the challenges couples working together in the same organizations?
I think we have established most of the challenges that couples go through in such working space. You see, you should also take into consideration the nature of your spouse.
Okay.
When it comes to this working in the same organization space, because there are some spouses who are overly jealous, who have not attained that level of emotional maturity. And if you get into the same space with them, it is highly probable that they are going to cause trouble. Okay. Now, another challenge is what is going on right now, where you lose concentration because the people that you employ who are obviously competent to do the work will be sacked because your wife feels like they are intruding your space. Exactly. So it creates another challenge for you. If this person is doing the work well, I have to sack the person to please my wife, not for business reasons. So there is no difference between business and family. Okay. And in this situation, it's not like they are working for an organization that does not belong to them. This organization belongs to them. So it's like they are calling the shots. So in such a situation, you make the decisions as a family and it applies in the business. Okay. And if she is adding her emotions to the decisions you make with regards to the business you are running, you don't run businesses on emotions. Yeah, it will collapse eventually. Okay. Yes. Nice
thoughts. Mr. Jama, what are some of the challenges?
We have so many of them. I even want to take it from the parenting aspect.
Okay, go there.
Working in the sector and you close at maybe 8 o'clock, you have to report to work around 7. Who takes care of the children? So these are some of the things that if you are couples and you are working together, you need to consider. At least one should be able to have some time to take care of the children, because surely there may be children in the marriage. So that's one challenge. Hello.
I can hear you.
That's one of them. And then what about transfers? You are working, maybe you're a police officer. Your wife too is a police officer. Now there's transfer. What will happen? So all these things, sometimes we need to look at them before we consider working with our spouses in the same company or the same institution. We also have a situation whereby it can even bring about competition among the two. Perhaps you are all holding your master's degree or you're having your first degree and you're working in the same company. And sometimes it brings about competition.
Okay. Unhealthy one, right?
Yes, if you are not careful, that enviness will come. We are humans. And sometimes some of this sentiment may come in. Sometimes the woman may feel that I should have qualified for this travel or I should have gone for this meeting. And then the man thinks that, oh, I'm the man. Some of these things you should leave for men to, decide. So sometimes it brings about this kind of unhealthy or unfriendly competition. And then sometimes you are not able to distinguish between what you should talk about, work and then home. Sometimes when you are going out from work, you are talking about work. At home, you are talking about work. So the couples, you don't give a clear cut.
Okay.
You don't have a fruitful family. You should know that we are working in the same. Perhaps we may come up with some solutions to that. So you need to know that we are at home. So home matters. If you go to work, we talk about work. So some of these things, I think that we have very circumspect
about
when it comes to
Okay, nice. Mrs. Jama, Mrs. Owusu, sorry, since you're the only woman here, I would want to ask you this. Would you advise your wife? I was rather referring to Mrs. Owusu. My regards to your wife, though. Mrs. Owusu, would you advise a man who is not financially stable to get married?
Actually, it is a no for me.
Why?
A man needs to, like we know it from the Bible, that God gave Adam job first or work first before he gave him wife. So as a man, you should have something to hold on to it before you can go in to marry, because that is what has maybe happened over here, because he wasn't really stable. That is how come all this thing is kind of arousing. If he had been stable before getting into it, the woman wouldn't have felt that way. Or somehow the woman is feeling like it's my family who actually helped for us to get this far. So you can't really kind of shut me down or expect me to be really submissive to let it go. No, that's why actually she found her way into the business. So a man should always be
stable,
financially stable before getting into marriage. It's a key.
It's a key. Nice one there. Oh, Henny.
What if we are not talking about financial stability, but then the question is framed in a way that are we supposed to take gifts from our spouse's family, in any form, before we start the marriage or at the initial stages of the marriage? For instance, your father-in-law, your mother-in-law, they are financially endowed and they think that you are kind of struggling, so let's bail our son-in-law out. Should we take it? And if we take it, what are the repercussions in the future? These are some of the very dicey questions that are being asked, because quite often it turns out that the one whose parents facilitated ends up feeling some ownership over you because my parents gave you the money. Yeah, after all, my parents gave you the money. But then I feel it's not a problem if your in-laws want to help you when you are not financially stable. I feel that if you don't have any way out, you should take the gift and work your way out. They gave you the capital, but then you made use of it. He was the one who worked with it, and he has brought up the business to the level the business is at right now. So though your parents gave me the capital, that does not mean that they were the ones who gave me a business. No, I built something from what they gave to me. Yes.
Oh, Henny, what about before the marriage? A man is not financially stable.
I think that our mother here has said it all. It's a no-go area. You can't even.
What if you love him?
It's not all about love.
Are you sure?
Yes, we should understand that. It's a balance of every aspect that makes the marriage healthy, that makes the marriage successful. If you dwell on the love alone, you'll be disappointed, because there's going to come a time where the love will not buy you. I like gobe. The love will not buy you gobe.
I like pizza.
The love will not get you gobe. You understand? You use money to go and buy food. You use money to pay the bills. Love will not get you the electricity bill covered. So financial wise, it is important that a guy is stable
before.
Yes, it's definitely important.
Mr. Jamra, what are your thoughts? A man who is not stable wants to get married. Would you allow or permit? Hello, Mr. Jamra.
He's muted.
Hello, Mr. Jamra. You are muted. Kindly unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please. I can hear you now.
My question is that what's the definition for financial stability?
Okay, let's say he's not working.
If you are not working, then you are not supposed to marry.
Really?
The genesis of marriage, back to Eden, you see that God gave Adam work to do. So that is one of the implications, that before you marry, you need to get some source of income flowing. For example, me, I married, and I wasn't that working as in a stable work, but I was getting some kind of financial
support.
Yes, I was doing some small jobs.
Okay.
That was some money. So I thought, oh, Charlie, I could do something and marry. So I got married. And through that, I was able to, persevere and then move on with the ideas from the wife and other things. Then you grow your family as well. Now, if you also stay there and say that I need to get a very conducive, comfortable, well-paid
you will not
job,
get married, eh?
You stay there. And then you take you not stop working. If you are a laborer, you go to work, you know that you come home with maybe 10 Ghana cedis. That is your source of income. Someone has sold pure water, and the person has built a home or a house. So the little work that you do, the little income that you receive becomes your source of income. So you can budget on that and then get married. And maybe, who knows, it may bring luck to you with the help of your wife. For this man, for example, the man in question, I believe that the family supported him, and it wasn't a bad idea. Okay. And now he has to do a business. The fact that you don't have money or you don't have any source of income doesn't mean that you don't have ideas to build a business.
Interesting.
So, giving you maybe 100 Ghana cedis, you can make business out of it, and your business will grow. So for that, accepting gifts from our in-laws and other things, yes, I support that, because the Bible says, and the woman shall become one. So since we are one family, if I accept any gift from my in-law, I see it to be a gift from my father. And since I will accept a gift from my father, of course, I will accept a gift from my in-laws as well. It all boils on me manage it well, as this young man has been able to do, and then make good use of the whatever I receive from them. Just that I just don't need to disappoint where you.
Interesting submission. Jamba.
It is also important to note that if you are, as you were saying, when he was making his contribution, he was like, if someone has sold one city, pure time and has built a house, it is important to note that you cut your coat according to your size. If you are earning 10 cities, go to the woman you feel can take the 10 cities and understand. It's not by force. There are some women out there who
they don't eat gobe, they eat pizza.
No, gobe, everyone eats gobe. But then there are some women out there who, like class-wise, they are up there and you can't fault them. So just cut your coat according to your size. You know the income you are bringing on the table. You should be looking for someone who accepts that income, then you move together with the person. Yeah.
But do you think the woman moved to the business because she really wanted to help with her expertise, or she felt insecure?
Those are the loopholes you find in the story. Some of the information that we didn't get. So we can only make assumptions and come with contributions based on the assumptions we've made. I feel that there may be several reasons why she decided to move there. Because in the story, it doesn't say that she was having problems at her workplace. Maybe she was even doing well there. What if she had an idea of the guy cheating, so she wanted to get into the same insecurity, get into the same working space so that she could monitor him? Because from what she's been doing, it looks like she had a preconceived idea for coming into the same working space. So there are several reasons why she could have moved. Maybe the guy was always making an excuse with the job he was doing. So she decided to so that at least I can spend more time with my husband. Okay. So there are several things here. Yeah.
Mrs. Owusu, please, what do you think?
You know, the challenges are more and the advantages are, like we said earlier, is actually less. But with regards to that, there is nothing impossible if they two will come together, sit themselves out, build on it. I think she should actually sit the woman down and find out her fears. I think that would help if she's able to know the fears of the woman, what actually entices her to go into the business with her, and now she behaving that way. Like we have established, I think there might be that trust issues, or maybe, once trust is like a glass. Once it's broken and you fix it together, that mark always lies there. There is no way you can mend it or weld it for it to become beautiful as it was before. That broken pieces will always be seen over there. So the man should rather work on getting her wife to trust her again. And once that is fixed, actually this problem is going to solve by itself, whether in business or in the workplace. It's going to solve it. So we should encourage the man to trust, to work on his trust, for the woman to actually accept her again. And also the woman should voice out her fears. Why is she doing that? Have they sat down to really discuss why she's doing that? Because they said there is no fire, there is no smoke without fire. The fire was set. You have to trace the smoke back to where the fire is. And once he's able to quench the fire, the smoke will disappear and everything will fall in place. That is what I think.
Great. Mr. Jama, you think it's about trust, or the woman should just move back to a banking business?
No. She shouldn't go back.
She shouldn't go back. Why?
She shouldn't. See, we are in this country and we know what is happening at the banking sector, right?
Let's just imagine we are abroad.
The woman... Your
dimension is very critical.
So why is it that I'm doing family business, and then is doing well? My husband has employed a lot of people to do so why not I move in and become the operations manager, and then we help run the business, which of course maybe might be the reason for which she entered into that business. But you see, it could also be that the man has not been fair to the woman. And that man lose focus, or she say that he can't concentrate. Your wife says that females are getting closer to you, and I am with that. Okay. Now she is the operations manager. And the man is maybe the CEO or the manager for the company. Besides, the woman is a stakeholder or a shareholder. Let me put it that way, because she has some shares into it. It's a family business. So whatever decision that is taken in the company, I think she should be involved 100%.
Okay.
Assume that the man, for all you know, I'm going to meet a business client or a customer.
Then you pass somewhere.
She's left. I'm going for a dinner date with a customer. The woman will ask, and he said that, oh, you have to go home, go and take care of the children. Let me handle the customer. Okay. And we are going to meet this hotel, and then we talk about business over lunch. All these things will give the bad impression to the woman.
Okay.
So what to do is very simple. Involve the woman. Simple.
Okay.
If I'm the man, I would have even left everything in terms of decision making to the woman, because she's equally competent, because she has been working over the years now. So when it comes to some of these things, dealing with people, you handle them. And then I will also take care of the mail, or all go together to meet customers or clients, and then we discuss whatever comes out from it. Okay. You are there, I am all discuss. If you are to go for lunch and then talk about business, we do that. I go with you. Everything I do, I involve you. I don't tell you that do this, do that, do this. And then why is it that the man cannot take a male as a secretary?
A secretary.
If your wife is not compatible with a female. So yes. So the man has a lot, and he can do a lot. He is the one who can save the marriage. Okay. So he shouldn't focus and say that he can't concentrate. He has to get all the
facts,
right. This is what you want.
Sure.
So if it is what you want, let's do it. For example, I have a similar experience where I established a business with my wife. But for me, I had it in my mind that the business is not for me. So I just want to use my networks, my links and other things to help, my knowledge and whatever. So when it comes to financial issues, I don't go there. She handles all the financial issues.
Okay.
When you have to employ your own, I don't want to go and bring any nurse or any female for you to say that you have gone to bring your girlfriend or whatever to the company. So she does everything because I got to understand her.
Okay.
So I have everything for her to decide. Okay. Sometimes if you're working with your spouses, especially the women, you claim for supremacy. So if you're a man, you need to be very careful so that you don't get distracted along the way. You have to sometimes give them space and then allow them to operate whatever or however they want it.
Interesting. Should the woman leave or she should stay?
I think that the woman being in that space, one, it is hurting her.
Okay.
Two, it is hurting the guy. And three, it is hurting their marriage. Like, taking the story into consideration, it is hurting all the parties. And I feel that maybe a break will do. Then they restructure.
A break from the business?
No, the woman should just
step aside
for a while. Then they restructure. Then they know the way forward. Because I think that the woman is not emotionally mature enough to handle the kind of transactions the guy is going to have. Or maybe the guy has not involved hair as Mr. is saying. So there's a lot of things to plan. There's a lot of forecasting to do. There's a lot of explanation. There's a lot of transparency to issue out so that it will help both parties establish the relationship they want to establish. So she should take a break from the business, then they restructure, then they know the way forward. But as it stands now, a woman is a woman. If she has decided on doing something, then there's no way you can stop her. There's no way. If she decided that, no, this is my man, and I'm not going to allow any worker to get close. Yes. So it's obvious that she's not ready. Okay. Or the guy is doing something that has, So it's time for them to go back to the drawing board, restructure, and know the way forward. Then I think that they can make plans. Oh, you'll be in charge of this. I'll employ this. I'll leave employment to you, so that if you are insecure with the employment, then you employ the one you feel should be comfortable around me. And then they restructure. Then they will know the way forward.
Okay, our time is almost up. Mr. Jeremiah, I would like to know your final words and any shout out. You are muted. Okay.
I think, as I said, the woman should be in the business, and then the man should listen to the wife, and then they continue with the business. That shouldn't be a problem at all. So I believe that when they are able to do that, with the grace of God, the business will shine. Because I believe that the woman has been influential to the man, giving ideas to others to the man. So it is not bad her working with the man. I believe that they should have a fruitful marriage, and then they will take a cue from our discussions for them to have a fruitful and then a happier marriage. I want to greet everyone, especially my family, the Jamra family, my church members as well, at Big Techiman.
Mr. Jamra, thank you so much for joining. God bless you. Mrs. Owusu, your final words and any shout out.
Okay, thank you. With me, I think like the Bible said in Matthew 7 verse 5, saying that like we should remove the speck in our eyes before going into other people. So the guy should work on himself first for the lady to trust her, and also approach the lady for them to discuss about any fears. And like Ohene was saying, go back to the drawing board, restructure everything. And the man shouldn't be the one to decide for the woman to leave, but it should be something that the woman would do it out of her own will. Because like you can't even force anybody.
Mrs. Owusu, we've lost her.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know I was muted all this while.
Okay.
Sorry.
We didn't hear your shout out.
Yeah, what I was saying with my final thoughts is that both of them should sit down, talk about it. The man shouldn't be the one to force the woman out or tell her to stop, but they should discuss it, and the woman should voluntarily quit the job herself. And with that, I think it's going to save both married, because the guy said she was helping while she was doing the banking job. So if he understands it, if they talk about it and she understands, she can equally go back to her banking and still be helping. But it shouldn't be the man's decision to force her out. It should come from the woman herself who wants to actually quit. And I want to say shout out to my husband and the Atlanta Ghanaian SDA Church, and all my friends and family, to my mom and siblings who are watching in Ghana, and to my counselor, Dr. Dorothy Araba, and all my nieces and families here in the Atlanta, and also to our lovely viewers.
Thank you so much for joining.
You're welcome.
I'm so glad to have you.
Thank you.
Boss, your final words.
Oh, as Mrs. Owusu has already said, they should sit down, restructure. And also they should pray. If you are not praying, pray, involve God. Because he helps us solve these issues. Yeah, you may have your own plans, but then for someone to even decide to change his or her mind, it's God. So they should involve God, make God the center of their marriage, and I think these issues will take care of themselves. Yeah.
Any shout outs?
Oh, shout outs to Staccato Boys. Staccato Boys, all my boys, they shout out to them.
Mention names,
Then they know them our body. Then shout outs to Moses, my brother.
Okay.
Moses, my brother and friend. Yeah, that's all.
Oh, Henny, thanks for joining.
You're welcome, man.
I would want to use this opportunity to say a very big thank you to my panelists and to my viewers watching home. And also to Evie, congratulations. She got married last weekend. May God bless your union. I also thank God Almighty for adding another year to my age. Thank you so much. All those who wished me, those who called me, and the gifts, everything. My friends who surprised me. Araba, Sandra, Erena, Alex, everyone. God bless you. And I would also like to extend my condolences to my family, especially my mom and my aunties. They are bereaved. We are burying my grandmom tomorrow. May God be with you and may God strengthen we all. Thank you all for watching. See you same time next week. Bye-bye.